So an investigation, a digital investigation versus an investigation with assets. And you'll talk about all of these as time goes on. So an investigation is an investigation is an investigation. It's well known how to do an investigation. It's been interesting for me to talk to some of the people who are doing forensic analysis. They don't know how to do an investigation. As soon as you take the computer out of it, they don't know how to do an investigation. And that concerns me. And I think you need to know how to do an investigation. Then you know how to mine. You need to know how to mine digital assets for information in support of that investigation. That's my point. All of this stuff is the same. Somebody said document, record keeping by writing stuff down, record keeping by taking photographs. I mean, if you watch CSI and they go onto a crime scene, they're taking pictures out the wazoo. And I think that's very exemplary. And as we said earlier, you take a picture, it records GPS information in metadata for the picture, EXIF, I think is what it's called, so that you can say, I took this picture here. And so you've got that essentially corroborating information. The goal is to build a plausible chronicle of events. You're telling a story. So, do those know how to do an investigation in general within your organization? And this is a course I want to take that I haven't taken. Do the investigators know how to be police? Do they know how to do an investigation? Do they know how to investigate or cause to be investigated digital assets? You take CASTLE, you take NCIS. Kevin Ryan on CASTLE is the one who knows how to look at a drive, knows how to look at a USB. Abby knows everything on NCIS. You know, it's made up, but it's reflective of a reality that there are people on the investigative team who don't run the other direction when there's a digital asset, and that's my point of this. And we'll talk about some of the tools. Unfortunately, the tools that are made available to you today require that you know how the system works. Do you know how Windows does this? Well, I don't care about how Windows does this. I want to know if Charlie talked to Fred last Tuesday, and whether they talked via email with Outlook, whether they talked with Gmail, whether they chatted with AIM, they talked. So that's the investigative question I want to ask. So think like an investigator, not like a geek, per se, although that's hard. And the tools need to support the investigative perspective, not the geek perspective, and guess what? They're not there yet. So you guys have hit on this. Volatile data. Volatile data is essentially memory. And if you turn the computer off, which used to be the standard for doing an on-site collection, you lose all of that stuff. You lose physical memory contains processes, connections, credentials, clear text passwords. It was mentioned encrypted assets. You were mentioned encrypted assets. An encrypted asset may have a key that unlocks that asset in memory. I actually did this for some training for one of law enforcement over the summer, where I encrypted a zip archive. You can password encrypt a zip archive. And then I captured physical memory from that VMware-based machine that I used it. I took out all the printable strings. I made a custom dictionary, and I fed it into FTK's PRTK, the Password Recovery Toolkit. And that password was in memory, unlocked the zip archive. And so memory contains good stuff like this that can be very helpful. You type a credit card number in, that's going in memory. And if you capture memory, you can pull out credit card information if you capture memory. Decrypted file systems and containers, and also network traffic. Network is very volatile, obviously. It's important to do that, and you hit on that too. Non-volatile data typically is all of these sorts of things. Disks, DVDs, CDs, and all of that stuff. So those can be captured or taken, again, depending on the warrant, what the warrant allows you to do. So those are the kinds of things you're trying to collect. And this kind of gives you an idea of the order in which you want to connect them. Physical registers in the machines, memory, caches, etc. Unless, I guess the Princeton demonstrated this. There was a thing a few years ago where if you turn off the laptop, you pull out the CPU board, you spray circuit cool on the memory chips. The memory chips will retain their value for a longer period of time. So maybe that's something you want in your kit that you take with you. Somebody said tools, maybe circuit cooler to cool the memory chip so that you can do something in case you don't have credentials. There may still be a way for you to capture physical memory or capture enough of memory for that to be important. The network state, running processes, disk contents, floppies and CD-ROMs, printouts, etc. And Another important thing, we did one case where the computer had virtually no information, but there was a bunch of letters that the suspect had exchanged with other people on his crew that contained information that was sitting right next to the monitor. Fortunately, it was in the scope of the warrant, and that information could be taken.